I opened the door and nearly screamed. Dante stood in the rain holding Victor's body, blood soaked through both their shirts.
Rossiya Bouch, the ambulance is already called. He is alive, barely.
Victor died 3 days later without speaking a word. The family meeting happened fast. I sat in the corner of the council room like a lamb that wandered into the wrong field.
She knows too much. Outsiders do not survive knowing our business.
Marry her to the Bianchi Widlow. Get something back.
Don Antonio smoked his cigar and said nothing. His silence was the verdict. Then Dante stood.
Enough. Victor entrusted her to me with his dying breath. Castellis keep their word.
Victor could not speak when he died. You know that.
He paused. Then
I am simply too kind-hearted to treat you as a pawn. Victor has a daughter, Sophia. Her mother is gone. If you want to leave, we will find someone to take over.
she was 6 years old with Victor's big eyes and the wariness of a stray animal. I offered to read her a story. She let me. By the time she fell asleep in my arms, my decision was already made. The next morning, I walked straight into Antonio's study.
I am staying to care for Sophia, but I have conditions.
The old Don looked up from his documents and waited.
I want to manage Victor's restaurants. I grew up in the business. I can make them better and cover operations.
Then he pressed the intercom.
Call Dante in.
When Dante entered, Antonio said 4 words.
Teach her our rules.
The next day, Dante led me through the kitchen to an unmarked door. He entered a code. Narrow stairs, mold and chemicals in the air. When the lights came on, one wall, weapon racks, handguns to assault rifles, a metal table in the center, fake ledgers, banded cash.
This is the real business. Brings in 5 times the restaurant's profit every month.
And if I refuse to be part of this?
His hand rested on the pistol rack. His eyes did not move.
Then you never come back upstairs.
4 Colombo men walked into my restaurant, and the first thing I noticed was the pins on their ties. The second thing I noticed was that Dante was not here. I smiled and led them to the private room.
Cut the act. We know what is in the basement. This territory belongs to us now.
Cold sweat. I kept my voice even. This is a restaurant, sir. Perhaps you should see a doctor about those delusions. I excused myself, found Giovanni in the kitchen, and held his gaze for exactly 2 seconds. He understood. Emergency protocol, trapdoor system. When the Colombo men reached the basement, they found wine racks and tablecloths. They left empty-handed. My legs gave out the moment the door closed. Giovanni handed me a whiskey without a word. That evening, Dante appeared in my office.
You saved the entire operation today. Perhaps you do belong in this world.
Later, in the basement range, he moved behind me to correct my grip, his chest against my back, his breath at my ear.
Feet shoulder width. Weight forward. When you pull the trigger, be decisive.
My face burned. My heartbeat was embarrassing. I aimed. I pulled the trigger. Bullseye.
Vegas. The casino situation needs someone strong. 4 years minimum.
4 years. I kept my face composed and my hands flat on my knees. The farewell a week later was harder than I had prepared for.
Can you please stay?
I promise. I'll bring you a new toy when I come back.
Swear you will come back.
I swear.
Then he turned to me and held out an elegant box. Inside was a small pistol, custom, my initials engraved on the grip.
Protect the family. Protect yourself.
I will make sure you return to a new empire. He squeezed my hand once. Then he got into the car. I stood at the gates until the taillights disappeared into darkness. Sophia grabbed my hand.
He will come back, right?
Yes, he promised.
I pressed the gun box against my chest. A lot can happen in 4 years, such as gang wars and deaths. The call came at 6 in the morning.
Elena. Don Antonio has had a stroke.
It is critical.
At the hospital, the family's upper circle was already gathered. The doctor took me aside. Even if Antonio recovered, he would never lead again. Paul said it plainly.
We have contacted Vegas. Dante must return immediately.
"5 years. He was finally coming back. I stood at the estate gates 3 days later with Sophia bouncing beside me.
Do you think he will like my new dress?
The convoy appeared at the end of the drive. Black cars. Engines like predators. The first door opened. The call came at 6 in the morning.
Elena, Don Antonio has had a stroke. It is critical.
At the hospital, the family's upper circle was already gathered. The doctor took me aside. Even if Antonio recovered, he would never lead again. Paul said it plainly.
We have contacted Vegas. Dante must return immediately.
"5 years. He was finally coming back. I stood at the estate gates 3 days later with Sophia bouncing beside me.
Do you think he will like my new dress?
The convoy appeared at the end of the drive. Black cars. Engines like predators. The first door opened. Dante Castelli stepped out, taller, broader, a jaw that could cut glass and eyes colder than I remembered. His gaze found me before anyone else.
Elena,
We were alone in the back kitchen when he rolled up his sleeve. The right arm, dates, executions, each one a traitor. The left arm, names, people he protects. Sophia's name was there. Mine was there too. Why tattoo my name?
because you are someone I swore to protect since the day you married Victor.
My fingers touched the ink. I felt his pulse underneath. He moved closer. His thumb crossed my lower lip. The warning bells hit me like ice water. Jujupio's voice, the elder's eyes, the word death.
We turned my head. His lips' entire family is watching.
Fuck the family.
He left. I stood in the kitchen alone with my heartbeat and the smell of his cologne. I came home to my office and stopped in the doorway. Dante sat in my chair. My letters, 4 years of them, fanned across the desk like evidence. He knows I kept every word he wrote. You went through my safe.
You kept every single one.
They were business correspondence, supply chain updates, family matters.
Then why hide them?
He stood and picked up the top letter, read one line aloud, the line about Brooklyn's flavor and the color of my eyes. My mouth opened. The truth was right there, one breath away. Giuseppe's voice cut through it like a blade. Death. The word was death. I closed my mouth.
Say it, Elena.
I looked at the ruby at my throat instead of his eyes. There is nothing to say. He swept the letters off the desk and walked out. I pressed the recording button on my phone. Donovan slid a folder across the table before I sat down. Money laundering, weapons, Vegas execution photos, and behind all of it, our letters. Every one. Copied clean.
Immunity. New identity, walk away whole.
In exchange for Dante?
In exchange for evidence. Same thing.
My hands were shaking under the table. I kept my face like stone. You're wasting your time.
2 weeks, Elena. After that, this goes to the prosecutor and to the Castani elders. Those letters will get you both killed before we even file charges.
He left me with his card and a deadline circled in red. Outside, I turned into an alley. A black SUV stopped 20 feet back. Jake, Dante's man. Tell your boss I am not his prisoner. Jake went pale. I pulled out my phone and called Marco. I pressed the recording button on my phone. Donovan slid a folder across the table before I sat down. Money laundering, weapons, Vegas execution photos, and behind all of it, our letters. Every one. Copied clean.
Immunity. New identity, walk away whole.
In exchange for Dante?
In exchange for evidence. Same thing.
My hands were shaking under the table. I kept my face like stone. You're wasting your time.
2 weeks, Elena. After that, this goes to the prosecutor.
At midnight, I went to the wine cellar to think. The ancient barrels. The smell of oak and cold stone. He was already there.
I know about Donovan. I know about the lunch.
Then you know, I refused him.
Why?
His grip shifted to my chin, forcing my eyes to his.
I left for Vegas because seeing you every day without being able to have you was torture. Father knows that he arranged for me to leave to prevent us from making a mistake.
5 years.
From the moment you married Victor, I wanted you to be mine.
His lips were a breath from mine. The pent-up emotions of years erupted at this moment. His voice saying my name like a prayer. When the first gray light came through the ventilation grate, I was already awake. I looked at his face. The only time I had ever seen it unguarded, and Giuseppe's voice hit me like ice water. Death. The word was death. My hands shook so bad I could barely hold the pen. I wrote, "Last night was a mistake. We cannot continue this." I set the note beside his jacket. Then I walked out of the Caller and did not look back.
Elena, we need to talk about that night.
Email me about the supply chain. I have an appointment. I kept walking. 3 mornings in a row, kneeling on the bathroom floor. I already knew. I bought the test anyway. 2 red lines. I sat on the cold tile and stared at them until my legs went numb. There was no ambiguity. The child was Dante's, and if anyone in this family found out, we were both dead. I called the most discreet clinic in Manhattan from a burner phone. The doctor understood. I was still in the car driving home when my phone lit up.
Boss, FBI at the restaurant. Search warrant.
I walked through the kitchen doors 90 seconds later.
Destroy the B-section Leggeries, clear the basement, move.
When the last badge disappeared through the door, I looked at Donovan's business card on my desk. The 2-week deadline was circled. I had crossed it out this morning. He had sent the raid because I refused him. The next move would not be a search warrant. Marco slid the ring across the table with a smile that never reached his eyes.
Marry me. I can make the FBI investigation disappear. Every file, every agent.
Then his gazes dropped to my abdomen. 1 second. Deliberate. My blood went cold. Either way, that glance told me everything I needed to know about what happened if I said no. That night, I sat alone in my bedroom and mapped every exit. Running. Too dangerous with a child. Confessing to Dante. The family would execute us both. One option remained. I had to make Dante let go completely. Make him hate me enough to stop protecting me. I called Marco and accepted. The next morning, Dante stormed into my office.
Everyone out! That night in the cellar mean nothing to you?
I took a breath and said the most destructive words of my life. I am pregnant. The child is Marco's. We have been together for some time, before you returned. I watched his face drain white. Then the whiskey bottle left his hand and exploded against the wall.
You are lying!
We were nothing, Dante. Nothing. His eyes went from rage to disbelief to something that looked like death. He slammed the door hard enough to shake the frame. I pressed my forehead to the cold floor and whispered to the child inside me that this lie was the only gift I could give its father. On my wedding morning, Marco came to the bridal suite with white roses and left to handle final arrangements. I was adjusting my veil when I heard voices in the hallway. I pressed myself against the door.
FBI agents in position. The moment Castani walks in, we arrest him. Rico, he will never see daylight again.
Our people handle them within 3 days. Brooklyn is yours. What about Elena? She's carrying Castelli's child. We use the baby to keep him cooperative in prison.
I covered my mouth. He had known all along. The proposal, the flowers, the opera, every moment of it a trap. And I had walked straight in, thinking I was the one doing the protecting. My hand found my purse. My fingers closed around the cold grip of the pistol Dante gave me 5 years ago. My initials were engraved on the barrel. I pressed it against my palm and started thinking. I pressed the pistol into the hidden pocket of my wedding dress. The silk closed over it perfectly. I walked down the aisle counting exits, 2 side doors, 1 vestibule. 12 of Marco's men I could see, more I could not. Marco stood at the altar looking like everything he had promised me. The priest began. Then the church doors burst open. Dante, armed men at his back. Gray-green eyes finding me across the chaos before anything else.
Kill them all!
Gunfire. Screaming. Marco's hand seized my arm and spun me in front of him. The barrel of his gun pressed into my abdomen.
One step closer, Castellis, and I kill her and the child, your child. I have known all along.
Dante froze. Dante froze. Donovan stepped from the crowd and raised his badge.
Dante Castilli, you are under arrest.
Marco's arm tightened across my throat. I felt the baby. My child, Dante's child, between me and the gun. Dante's eyes locked onto mine. He took one step forward.
Stop! I will fire!
Dante took another step. Marco's finger tensioned. Bang! Blood bloomed across Dante's shoulder. He staggered, but kept his eyes on me. Dante gave the smallest nod I had ever seen. He was telling me to be ready. Marco's gun shifted 1 inch toward Dante. That inch was everything. I drove my elbow hard into his ribs. He gasped. His grip broke. My hand was already inside the hidden pocket. My child is not a bastard. He is the future of the Castisi family.
How dare!
I was never the weak woman you thought. I am a Castelli.
He fell. I ran to Dante. He was leaning against a pew, one hand pressed to his shoulder, face pale but eyes fully alive. I dropped to my knees beside him. The baby is yours. It was always yours. I lied to make you hate me so the family wouldn't kill you for what happened in the cellar. Marco knew. He was going to use the child to control you. Dante's free hand found my face.
I know. I stopped believing the lie the moment I calmed down. Sophia told me you cried every night.
I pressed his blooded hand to my abdomen. Marco's study, hidden compartment in the desk, everything. Donovan, the conspiracy, all of it.
Boss, police in 4 minutes.
Deontay looked at me, and for the first time since I had known him, he smiled without reservation.
This child is our future.
His blood soaked through my wedding dress. I had never felt less afraid. 3 weeks later, morning light across the Castelli master bedroom. I woke up and waited for the fear. It did not come. Dante lay beside me, his bandaged shoulder the only evidence of how close everything had come to ending. He was already awake, watching me with those gray-green eyes.
The FBI dropped every charge. Marco's study had it all. His payments to Donovan, the arrest plan, the Rossi Tokover timeline. The Bureau is cleaning house. Donovan is done.
I exhaled for what felt like the first time in years. The family?
I am the Don. I make the rules now. Tradition that nearly killed us, I dissolved it the morning after the church. Anyone who objects answers to me.
I thought of Giuseppe's warning, the 70 years of family law, the death sentence we had been living under. Gone, because one man took a bullet and decided the rules were wrong. Sophia?
Safe. She already knows she is going to be a big sister.
His hand moved to my abdomen, steady, certain. I pressed my lips to his bandaged shoulder. We will rewrite every rule they ever made. That was how my last life ended. A sharp thing cut across my cheek and my eyes flew open. I was in a bridal bed, drenched in cold sweat, heart slamming against my ribs. Not a dream. Memory. I remembered every second. The wedding hall. Both families watching. Arthur's phone rang. Chloe, his precious first love. I asked him to finish the ceremony. Just finish it. What I got was a hard slap across the face in front of everyone.
What, is the Vincent family's precious heiress such a slut she can't get through one night without a man?
And later on the yacht, the Starlight, when Chloe stopped answering his calls, he decided she was dead. He wrapped his hands around my throat. He shoved me into the sea. I know exactly what a great white's teeth feel like. I know the despair of watching your own flesh ripped from the bone. But I was here, back, alive. The ice on my cheek stung again, and I forced myself to focus on the man pressing it there. Arthur's face. But the eyes were wrong. Too careful, too wary. This was not Arthur. I knew exactly who was sitting at my bedside. Asher. The twin the Sterling family had buried alive so Arthur could inherit everything. In my last life, I screamed. I exposed him. I started the countdown to my own death. Not this time. I slowly raised my hand and laid it over the back of his. He flinched. Tried to pull away. I held on. So, should I call you husband or little brother? Every muscle in his body went srittig. Since he was kind enough to send you to my bed without a second thought, I guess that makes you my husband. Then something in him caught fire. The ice between our bodies melted, cold water soaking into the wedding dress. He tore open the buttons down my back. Hot, ragged breath. This man was mine now. 2 words on the screen, Arthur Sterling. I reached for it on instinct. Asher's hand clamped down on my wrist like a steel trap. He bit my lip, sharp, possessive, almost like punishment. I felt the jealousy radiating off him. Arthur had sent his brother to stand in for him on his own wedding night, and now he was calling to check the arrangement was running smoothly. I could hand Asher back to the shadows where the family kept him. Instead, shh, let him call. Tonight, it's just us. The darkness in Ashen's eyes eased. The phone buzzed twice more and went silent. Moonlight replaced the glow on the nightstand.
Do you remember a rainy night in Lower Manhattan? 9 years ago? A little boy getting beaten in the street?
I went still. Asher lowered his lashes. I remembered it then. I had slipped out of the estate that year. A downpour. A boy beaten half to death. His mother thrown out of the hospital because she couldn't pay. I paid the bill, left him enough cash to change his life, used my connections to get him into a boarding school in Boston. It had only been a passing impulse of pity.
That money saved my mother's life. It remade mine.
I stared at the face in front of me. In my last life, the owner of that face shoved me into a sea of sharks. And now it was looking at me with longing, so raw and humble it almost hurt. The seeds of revenge took root.
7 days in St. Bartolea. Sun, liquor, Chloe. I didn't care that my phone never rang. I figured if Ashley hadn't called begging for help, Audrey probably hadn't noticed anything was wrong. But after a full week, New York was still dead silent. No furious calls from Audrey, no updates from Ashtor. Even my own trusted men had gone dark. In the Mafia world, silence that complete usually means the highest kind of kill order. Chloe climbed out of the pool and pressed herself against my back.
You want to go back, don't you? You realized you still like that spoiled rich girl more.
Shut up, Chloe. Listen to me. Once I get back and take control of the security codes and final authority, you'll be the real mistress of the house. That bitch Audrey shows you the slightest disrespect. I'll throw her off the deck myself and let the sharks tear her apart.
I looked down at the lab report. Pregnant. Identical twins share the same DNA. No standard paternity test in the world could tell Asher from Arthur. God had left Asher a natural mask at birth and handed me a succession weapon. That evening, the core leaders of both families gathered at the Sterling estate. I watched Aslan work the room. With a few precise words, he untangled the South Harbor smuggling dispute that Arthur's arrogance had turned into a permanent source of friction between the families. The uncles who were hardest to please looked at Ashlyn with open approval. A wave of nausea rolled through me. I stepped out onto the terrace for air. Asher followed. He draped his jacket over my shoulders without a word. You're getting better and better at pretending to be your brother.
That's because I have you calling the shots, my dear wife.
I picked up a glass of vodka from a nearby tray and held it out to him. So tell me, would you be interested in making this act real? Replacing him for good? Ashy's breath caught. His hand closed around the glass, and then the door behind us was kicked open with brutal force. Arthur stood in the doorway, his eyes locked on Asher's arm around my waist. 1 second of stillness.
Audrey! I already lowered myself enough to marry you! I told you I'd come home!
Then he roared.
And over something this minor you dragged both families here to pressure me? I will never forgive you!
The hall went dead silent.
You're still performing? I'll kill you!
Asher moved like something that had been waiting for exactly this. His hand clamped around Arthur's wrist. One sharp twist. Then he forced Arthur down to his knees on the floor. Arthur screamed.
How dare you speak to your sister-in-law that way? The child in her belly is the most precious heir of the Sterling family.
Every elder in the hall heard it. Asher's hand clamped on his wrist. Behind my eyes, I was already calculating the next move. The Sterling Dawn had not yet spoken, but he was watching.
I'm Arthur! I'm the real Arthur! You've all been fooled!
Honey, was it really your deranged brother following us the whole time? Was he trying to kill us? And the baby I'm carrying?
The second the words left my mouth, the Vincent Capos reached under their jackets. A row of black muzzles swung toward Arthur on the floor.
No! Father! I'm Arthur! I'm the real one!
The Sterling Dawn watched everything with a stone face. On one side, a disheveled madman who had abandoned the wedding, ignored the family's interests, and was now barking on the floor like a stray dog. On the other, who had just secured the harbor route, earned the elders' respect, and was about to welcome the family heir. The old Don crushed the end of his cigar into the astral.
Take him away. Break both his legs and throw him into the holding cell below headquarters. No one treats him without my permission.
The batons came down hard. Arthur's scream tore through the room. He was dragged out. This was only the beginning.
Madam,
Were you pleased with the way I bared my teeth for you today?
My fingers slid through his blonde hair, traced down the side of his face, and came to rest at his throat. You were perfect, my loyal hound. I pressed a soft kiss to the tip of his nose.
But that was only a very small down payment. I want to strip him of everything. His faith, his pride, his dignity. I want him to watch the things he treasures rot and stink before his eyes. I want him to fall all the way into hell.
As you wish, my queen. I'll be the one to open the gates of hell for you.
His eyes closed in devotion. I had a willing weapon and no limits on how far I would use him. Don't get blood on the casino carpet. I smoothed the knot flat against his chest. Send her to the man she loves most. I'm sure Arthur could use a little love right now. Chloe was thrown into the cell like a bag of trash.
Chloe, I knew you wouldn't abandon me. Get these chains off me, hurry!
She froze. Then she got a clear look at him. The lash marks, the ruined legs, the stench, and she screamed.
You promised me you'd be head of the Sterling family! My cards are shut off! I got thrown out of the hotel! And you're just rotting in here like garbage!
The guard came in chewing tobacco. Rules were rules, he said. Nobody walked out of this dungeon alive. I'll do anything. I'm worth more than that loser. I swirled my wine. On screen, Arthur lowered his head to the wall. He bit down on a rusty nail wedged in a crack in the concrete. The moment the guard's belt loosened, Arthur twisted forward and drove the nail straight into his caradial artery. Blood burst across the filthy water. Chloe's scream cut off into silence. Arthur fumbled a gun and keys from the dead man's belt. Then he dragged himself out of the dungeon on his ruined legs, one agonizing inch at a time. I did nothing to stop him. He was walking into the second half of my plan. Tomorrow night, Winston Manor. The blood oath between both families. Every Don, every capo, every elder, all of them in one room. I already knew what Arthur would do when he heard about it. A man with nothing left always goes for the one place where he thinks the truth will save him. I opened the file on the table. Swiss account statements, Atlantic Ocean freight shipping logs, $30 million of embezzled family money. I had been building this for weeks. The dark monitor reflected my face back at me. I was smiling. I closed the file and prepared for the ceremony, because I already knew exactly who would crash through that door. Winston Manor was sealed tight, 2 armed security teams on the perimeter, every cap and elder from both families standing at the long table. My father and the Sterling Don with a dagger between them, about to seal the blood oath. Then the entrance glass exploded. Every gun in the room was drawn in half a second. Arthur staggered through the doorway, barely standing, concrete dust still on his jacket, dead man's gun in his fist.
Don't sign it! It's a setup that you've all been fooled. That man isn't me, he's Asher, the worthless brother you exiled.
The elders frowned. He looked like something that had crawled out of a sewer. Arthur saw their faces and snapped. He swung the gun toward my stomach.
That child isn't a Sterling heir, it's a bastard! Get a doctor in here right now! Draw blood! Run a DNA test on the spot and expose this fake!
The barrel was 6 feet from my belly. I stepped out from behind Asher. Slow, deliberate. I made sure every Don in the room could see my face. Calm. I snapped my fingers. A medical file slid onto the center of the table, because I had come prepared for exactly this moment. Arthur stared at the file. 99% match. No matter how much you scream, medical proof is medical proof. This child carries pure Sterling blood. He had forgotten one very basic fact. Identical twins share the same DNA. No standard paternity test in the world could tell him and Asher apart. It was the natural mask God had left Asher at birth, and the noose now tightening around Arthur's throat.
That's impossible, that's not...
And that's not all. I pulled the second file from my bag and fanned copies across the table in front of the Sterling Don. Swiss Outgo shipping account statements. Over 6 months, this man siphoned $30 million in family liquid assets to fund his mistress overseas. Then he sold our core arms route to the Lucchesi family at a discount. In the Mafia world, you could be cruel, you could be greedy, but there was one line that could never be crossed. Betrayal.
Rip out this traitor's tongue.
Arthur raised the gun. Asher moved faster. One crack, Arthur's arm snapped. A knee drove into his jaw. Blood and teeth hit the floor. He was dragged out through the closing doors, leaving a long smear of red across the marble.
I slip my arm through Ash's and lift a glass of champagne. Now, let's finish sealing our unbreakable empire.
Arthur came to with seawater hitting his face like 1,000 needles. He tried to stand, then he looked down. His feet were sealed inside a heavy block of concrete. I stopped in front of him. Beside me, Asher stood with the Oxyrian rose pin on his lapel, the symbol of sterling authority.
Audrey, please! I'm the heir!
The heir? You're a corpse waiting to sink into the dark. Before I send you down, I need you to understand exactly why. I poured the liquor over his head, down to the last drop. Do you remember the sound a crystal ashtray makes when it hits a skull? Because you smashed mine open the morning after our wedding because Chloe scraped her knee.
That never happened! You're insane!
Shh. I'm not finished. On the starlight, you were calling Chloe and she didn't answer. So you decided she was dead. And you wrapped your hands around my throat and shoved me off the deck. I know what it is to watch your own flesh ripped from the bone. I didn't even behind a whole body.
You're a monster! You're completely out of your mind!
This is just karma, Arthur. Now it's your turn. Behind me, Ashford drew his gun.
The fact that you got to live this long with the same face as mine is the greatest insult I've ever suffered. You don't deserve that face, and you sure as hell don't deserve to say her name with that disgusting mouth.
2 muffled shots swallowed by the thunder. Arthur's kneecaps exploded. He couldn't even scream anymore, just hung there with his mouth open. He brought his foot down hard on the concrete block. Arthur's body went over the edge. The black Atlantic swallowed him whole. Then the water began to turn. Dark red foam rolled up to the surface. I had died in these waters. I knew exactly what was happening below. I let out a long breath.
It's over, my queen.
I leaned back against his chest and looked out at the dark horizon. The debt from my last life was paid. Every last drop of it. No. Our empire is only just beginning. I walked down the aisle on my father's arm. On both sides, the capos who had once looked straight through me lowered their heads. The bishop opened the Bible and began to read the name Arthur Sterling. The man raised one hand. The cathedral went silent. He turned around.
My name is not Arthur. I don't need that name. Stained with betrayal and lies.
His voice carried to every corner of the dome.
I am Asher, the ghost you saved on a rainy night, the hound willing to tear the world apart for you.
He dropped to one knee. From the inside pocket of his suit, he drew the obsidian ring, the Sterling family's highest godfather authority, passed down for more than a century.
Starting today, everything I built belongs to one faith alone, my only queen, Audrey.
I looked down at that face, the same face that had once pushed me into a sea of sharks, a different soul behind it. My soul made its choice. I slid the ring onto my finger. Then I cupped his face in both hands and kissed him. Someone in the front row dropped to one knee. Then 100 armed men followed in perfect unison.
All hail the Godfather! All hail the Godmother!
The roar shook the dome. In my last life, I died with nothing. In this one, I took everything. On our 5th wedding anniversary, I was kidnapped. 1 month after they rescued me, 5 paternity tests came back with the same result. The baby was not Nico's.
My husband, Nico Valiti, the man who clawed his way from bastard son to head of the most powerful family on the East Coast, stood before his people and swore he would raise the child as his own. I believed him.
The family doctor said the trauma had buried itself too deep. I needed hypnotherapy. So I went, session after session, and every night after, I dreamed the same thing. Multiple men holding me down. The images were so vivid I could still feel their hands on my skin hours after. I tried to end it. 6 times. Nico pulled me back just in time. After the 6th, they pumped my stomach and hooked me to an IV. Nico sat beside my bed for 3 hours, holding my hand and whispering that he could not live without me. 20 minutes after he left, I still could not sleep. So I got out of bed and walked barefoot down the hallway. Nico's study door was cracked open. Inside, he was talking with Leo, his right hand since childhood, and the only person in the world he did not perform for. Then Leo's voice came through the gap, low, careful, and every word made my blood turn cold.
You faked your own wife's kidnapping to bury Sophia's intimate photos? 5 forged DNA reports, all those drugs. What happens if she actually doesn't survive one of these times?
I stopped breathing.
Sophia caught a Marodi bullet meant for me. That's how she ended up pregnant. I wasn't gonna let her name get dragged through every family's gossip circle on top of that.
There were other ways to handle it. Why did it have to be Mara?
Because Mara could use the humility. A few months of gossip, then I'll make it up to her.
She's tried to kill herself 6 times, Nico.
Every single time it's 10 minutes before I walk through the door. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's not trying to die, she's trying to make me feel guilty.
My fingers were already on my forearm, scratching the same patch of skin I had been tearing at for 3 months, convinced I was scraping off the filth those men left behind. Only there were no men. There was never anyone. The kidnapping was staged. The nightmares were chemicals. The DNA reports were fiction. Every wound on my arms, I carved them myself. But Nico had put the blade in my hand. I barely made it to the bathroom before I threw up. Nico appeared within seconds. He held my hair back, rubbed my spine, and pressed his wand to my forehead like a worried husband. Then his hand moved to my stomach. Gentle, protective.
This baby is a Velati. Doesn't matter what those tests say. I gave you my word.
I looked at the hand resting on my belly, the same hand that had designed every wound on my body. Nico stroked my hair and told me there was a family dinner that week.
You should come. Show everyone you're doing fine.
He had been performing for 3 months. I understood that now. His vasivany was exactly as real as my kidnapping. Sophia Marchetti, the war orphan he publicly treated like a sister, was carrying the child he actually cared about protecting. He could make that sterility promise so easily, because it had never cost him anything. And the baby I was carrying, the one the forged DNA reports claimed belonged to Morenary men who had never touched me, that child was just a prop. Something to keep me grateful, keep me broken, keep me exactly where Nico wanted me. I closed my eyes and leaned into him. His hand slid from my stomach to my hair, slow, familiar, like adjusting a leash on something already trained. I did not pull away. I did not cry. I let him finish the gesture, and I said nothing. He had been performing for 3 months. I could perform a little longer, too. I told him I would attend the dinner, not because he asked me to, because I needed to see how deep this lie really went. Sophia Marchetti was already seated when I walked in a dark, modest dress, her belly just beginning to show. Camilla Vallardi, Nico's stepmother and the family matriarch, was spooning soup into Sophia's bowl, fussing over her like the daughter-in-law she'd always wanted. The second I stepped in, Camilla's smile vanished. Has the father of Sophia's baby come to check on her? Camilla set down her chopsticks.
You have the nerve to bring up fathers? You don't even know which Moretti your baby belongs to. In any other family, they would have drowned you.
Camilla!
Nico said her name sharply and placed a hand on my shoulder. A gesture, nothing more. Then he leaned close to me.
Don't push Sophia about her situation. She's going through this alone.
After dinner, I stood to leave.
Clear everything she touched. Glasses, plates, silverware, all of it.
The housekeeper collected my place setting in front of everyone. Then she dropped it into the trash bin. I looked at Nico. He squeezed my hand.
Bear with it. I'll talk to her later.
Then Sophia coughed. Once, light, delicate, she pressed one hand to her stomach. Nico let go of me. Not a decision, a reflex. He turned and put his arm around Sophia's shoulders.
What's wrong, you okay?
His voice dropped into a softness I had not heard directed at me in months. 3 seconds ago, he had been holding my hand. Now that same hand rested on another woman's waist. And Nico did not even notice the difference. I walked out and leaned against the hallway wall. The dining room door had not fully closed.
Look at that belly. Pointed and high. Definitely a boy. Now that is a real Velati heir.
Whatever you say, Mom. That's my girl.
Sophia said it so naturally, like she had been saying it for years.
How long are you going to keep that woman around? Get rid of her before people start thinking the Valentis can't tell their own blood from the enemy's.
A long pause followed. Then Nico's voice came through the door. Flat, certain.
I know what I'm doing.
I stood in that hallway and let the words sink in. The vasecacy was theater. The promise to raise my baby was a script. Camilla had already written me out of the family. Nico just hadn't signed the page yet. Sophia entered that room as a ward and left as a daughter. I stood outside a door that no longer had my name on it. I straightened slowly. Then I took out my phone. My hands did not shake. I dialed a number I had never used before and waited for someone to pick up. I was back at the villa, my bag half packed on the bed, when the bedroom door slammed open. Nico stormed in with his jaw tight. Sophia trailed behind him, tears wet on her face, clutching her phone with both hands.
Mara, why would you post those things about me on the dark-et? Saying Moretti Men did the same thing to me with those fake photos? Why would you do this?
You really think I'd use what happened to me to frame someone else? Nico stepped between us.
You were the one they passed around. You know exactly what that feels like. And you can't stand that Sophia came out of it clean.
I haven't touched the dark web. I barely even touched my phone. He grabbed my wrist. I tried to pull free. His grip only tightened.
If you hadn't spent years making Sophia feel like dirt, I wouldn't have needed to do any of this. You brought this on yourself.
Then he dragged me out, down the stairs, through the back hallway, into the basement. Concrete walls, iron door, no windows. The room the family used for people who needed to disappear quietly. He shoved me inside.
Stay here and think about what you've done.
Nico, don't turn off the light! Please! You know I can't!
The iron door shut. The light went out. Total darkness. My knees buckled. I hit the concrete floor, and the cold shot through my legs, my hands, my spine. I was 7 years old again. A gang shootout hit a gas line, and half our building came down. Dad's back took the concrete. Mom's arm locked around my head. By the time I woke up, they were cold. 3 days pinned in the rubble. By the end, they did not smell like my parents anymore. After that, I couldn't do darkness. If the lights went out too fast, my heart would hammer until I blacked out.
Years later, Nico was nobody. Just the old boss's bastard son. At a family gathering, an elevator jammed with me inside. I was curled on the floor, shaking so hard I could not breathe. Nico pried the doors open with his bare hands. He pulled me out and held me against his chest.
I'll never have to be afraid of the dark again. I'm here now.
I pressed my back against the basement wall and started counting. 1, 2, 3. When I hit 1,000, I told myself I could count another 1,000 the same way I did at 7, wedged between my parents' bodies, waiting to be found. I do not know how long it had been when the door opened. Not Nico. A woman's silhouette stood backlit in the doorway, her face unreadable. She did not speak. 2 people behind her dragged 3 large objects inside, set them on the floor, and left. The door closed. Darkness swallowed the room again. I reached out. My fingers found something cold and smooth. A shoulder. A bare chest. I knew they were not real. I knew no one had ever touched me, but my body did not know that. 3 months of drugged sleep had burned those images into my nerves. Men pinning me down, hands I could not fight away. Now, trapped in the dark beside the shapes of male bodies, every nerve in me fired. I screamed until my throat gave out, clawed at my own arms, and pressed into the corner until concrete bit my spine. I screamed for Nico until there was nothing left in my lungs. No one came. I kept tearing at the same patch of skin I had been destroying for months, trying to scrape away something those men had supposedly left behind. Except there were no men. There never had been. And I was still destroying myself for it. Somewhere around the 2nd day, I stopped screaming Nico's name. Not because I gave up, because I finally understood calling for him would never make it stop. 3 days later, the iron door opened. Light sliced into my eyes like a blade. Nico stood in the doorway. I was curled on the floor, nails broken, arms scratched raw, lips split white from dehydration. The 3 mannequins were scattered around me. Nico glanced at them, frowned slightly, then looked away. He crouched down in front of me.
Had enough?
Nico carried me out of the basement. He cleaned my wounds, changed my clothes, and held water to my cracked lips. Every movement was careful, gentle. The care of a man trying to glue together something he had broken. I let him. I did not have the strength to do anything else. A few days later, he walked in with 2 plane tickets and a red dress.
Our anniversary got ruined. I'm making it up to you. Milan, 3 days, just us. Leo has already handled security. All you have to do is show up.
I did not say no. Saying no to Nico only ever made things worse. We flew to Milan. He booked the penthouse suite and made sure half the family's social circle knew exactly where we were.
I want everyone to see how I treat my wife.
I put on the red dress the way someone puts on armor before entering a building they do not trust. At the anniversary dinner, Nico pulled out my chair. He ordered my favorite wine. Halfway through the main diner, his phone rang. He stepped outside to take it. I sat alone at the table. Then a hand clamped over my mouth from behind. The man punched me in the stomach, hard, direct, right where the baby was. My vision went black, and I hit the floor. Security rushed in. The attacker was dragged away. Nico came running back, pulled me into his arms, and shouted at his men.
I'm here. You're safe.
Then I passed out. When I woke up, I was in a Milan hospital bed. My hand went straight to my stomach, still there, but the pain was deep and dull. Through the door, I heard Sophia's voice. She was here, in Milan. She was never supposed to be here.
Thank God you leaked the itinerary and drew those Maraudi men here. If they had tracked me down in New York instead. Bringing Mara was the smart move.
A small laugh followed. She's the perfect target. They would never pass up a shot at a Velati wife. I stared at the ceiling. Not an anniversary. Not an apology. I was bait. Nico had flown me 6,000 miles because Sophia needed a shield. And I was the right shape to hold in front of her.
Nico came in and sat on my bed.
I need to give Sophia a legitimate position to shut down the rumors. I'm going to marry her.
Remaining Morelli operatives were dealt with. Then I asked, then what am I? Nico exhaled, irritated, and left, quietly closing the door, like I wasn't worth the energy. Nico told me to stay quiet for a few months, let it blow over. I lay in that Milan hospital bed and finally understood. Quiet was exactly what he had always needed me to be. So I called the doctor.
Terminate the pregnancy. Now. After the procedure, they gave me a small box. It weighed almost nothing. I held it in both hands for a long time. Then I did 3 things. First, I placed the box into a package with the voice recorder from the night I stood outside Nico's study. Second, I added the divorce agreement. My signature sat at the bottom. Steady, not a single tremor in the ink. Third, I handed the package to someone I trusted. I gave only one instruction. Deliver it on his wedding day. Then I took a cab to Milan Malfola Airport. On the departure screen, a news tickly scrolled across the bottom. Valenti family heir wed in lavish New York ceremony. Full coverage at 8. I married Nico when he had nothing. No ceremony, no guests, just a piece of paper and one promise.
When I make it, I'll pay you back tenfold.
He made it. The tenfold went to someone else. I boarded the flight to London.
I walked into my own wedding and counted 3 times the number of guests I had invited. Camera crews were setting up in 2 corners. A journalist I recognized from a national outlet was testing her mic near the entrance. I pulled Sophia aside.
Who are these people?
Sophia's eyes went wide.
I invited them.
You always said you owed Mara a real wedding. I thought we could use this as a trial run. The setup, the flowers, the program, so when she comes back, everything will be ready for her. The standard should be high, right?
I looked at the flowers, the seating chart, and the 3-tier cake. She was right about one thing. I had made that promise to Mara, so I let it go. But the cameras still bothered me.
In the waiting room, Sophia started crying again, saying this ceremony would be the only memory she had before I sent her away. I watched the tears on her face and felt nothing. She cried too much, too easily. Every tear came at exactly the right moment, and for the first time I noticed the timing, not the emotion.
I thought of Mara. In 5 years, I had seen her cry maybe 3 times. Once, she took a knife meant for me, 12 stitches across her ribs. When she woke up, the first thing she asked was not whether it hurt. It was whether we had gotten him.
I pulled my hand free from Sophia. Let's just get through the ceremony. I need to get back and check on Mara. The ceremony started. Within minutes, it was streaming live.
A reporter stepped forward into the live stream.
Mr. Valenti, sources say your first wife was gang raped during a kidnapping by the Moreri family. Does this new marriage mean you've officially given up on her?
The live chat exploded. Every other comment was about Mara. Damaged goods, the Moretta's leftovers. No wonder he moved on. I had sealed that information inside the family. The only people who knew were people I trusted. My eyes moved slowly to Sophia.
She dabbed at her tears with a handkerchief, head bound, looking every inch the nervous bride. Before I could speak, Camilla stepped in front of the cameras. She hooked her arm through Sophia's and smiled. Wide, proud, rehearsed.
Sophia is the daughter-in-law I recognize. The child she's carrying is the only true Valenti heir. As for the previous one, a woman violated by our enemies has no place in this family.
Don't mention her name again. It's bad luck.
Camilla let the cameras linger, giving them a full second on her face. I crossed the room in 2 strides, hit the nearest camera off its tripod and smashed it to the floor. The lens shattered. For the live feed cut to black. For the first time that day, no one dared to move. I turned to Sophia. Mara story. You gave it to the press. It was not a question. Sophia's face crumbled right on cue.
I don't know how it got out. Someone must have... I would never...
Camilla cut in before she could finish. I looked back at...
Does it matter who said it? It's all true, isn't it? Sophia is your wife now. This isn't up for discussion.
Sophia, wiping her eyes with the back of her hand, but the corner of her mouth lifted, slightly, for 1 second. Then she caught herself. Something shifted in my chest like broken glass. I thought of Mara after the hypnotherapy sessions, lying in bed, pupils blown wide, shaking so hard the mattress trembled.
Someone's touching me. I'm so dirty.
Back then I had looked at her and thought she was putting on quite a show. That thought came back to me now, sharp enough to cut. Mom, the baby Mara is carrying is... The doors swung open. A man in a dark coat walked in, holding a package.
Mr. Valenti? From Mara Vasquez.
Camilla snatched the package before I could move. She tore it open. A small white box tumbled out and hit the marble floor. Camilla shrieked and dropped it like it had burned her. Sophia froze for 1 second. Then she stepped forward and nudged the box with the toe of her shoe, casually, like kicking a piece of trash out of her path. The box struck a table leg. The lid popped open. Fine gray powder spilled across the marble.
Oh my God. What is that? Mom, are you okay?
I did not move. I was staring at the ash on the floor. Then my knees buckled. I went down. The courier placed the remaining contents into my hands. A Mannery envelope. Inside was a divorce agreement. Mara's signature sat at the bottom. Steady, clean. Not a single tremor in the ink. I knelt on the floor, gripping the paper until my covels turned white.
That woman is insane. Sending this filth to a wedding?
Camilla stepped forward to snatch the papers from me. Her heel caught on something small wedged between the scattered documents. A click.
Then a voice filled the room. My voice. And Leo's. The conversation from the study that night. Every word, playing at full volume through the wedding hall. The recording ended. The wedding hall fell silent. Camilla turned toward me slowly, like her neck had rusted.
Mara's kidnapping. You planned it? She was never touched by those men?
Still nothing. Camilla's gaze dropped to the floor, to the gray powder scattered across the marble. The powder she had called filthy. The powder Sophia had kicked aside like garbage.
So that on the floor is my grandchild?
She made a sound between a scream and a choke. Then her knees gave out.
Camilla knelt on the marble and tried to scoop the ash into her hands, but it was too fine. It slipped through her fingers and mixed with the dust until she could no longer tell which was which.
My grandchild, Valenti blood. I can still get it back.
Mom, don't do this to yourself.
Sophia crouched beside her.
You still have my baby.
Camilla shoved her so far, she fell backward.
You kicked it! You saw the box! You knew what it was! And you kicked it across the floor like it was nothing!
Camilla's voice cracked into something raw.
I believed every word you told me about Mara. I smashed her plates in front of everyone. I called her dirty.
But the dirty one was you. It was always you.
Camilla collapsed before anyone could catch her. Paramedics carried her out on a stretcher, and that was how the wedding ended. Camilla was gone. The wedding was over. I returned to the villa and ordered the basement cleared. My men reported 3 life-sized male mannequins on the floor. I pulled up the security footage.
First clip, Sophia walking to the basement door shortly after Mara was locked inside. 2 staff members followed her, carrying the mannequins in. The moment she touched them in the dark, she broke, screaming, clawing at her own skin, throwing herself into the corner like something was tearing her apart from the inside. I knew what the drugs did. I had approved the dosage, heightened sensory triggers, involuntary trauma recall from any physical stimuli. Sophia had known too. She knew exactly what 3 naked male figures would do to a woman alone in the dark with those chemicals still in her blood. My fist hit the desk. Then the footage kept rolling, a different time stamp. A man entered through the side door. Sophia met him in the living room, and they wrapped around each other.
Once you get rid of Mara and take the Velati name, we can finally restore what's ours. The Moretti family rises again.
Soon. He's completely under my control.
Sophia Marchetti, a Moratti. Not a rescued orphan, not a girl I had saved. A knife I had kept pressed against my own throat for years. And I had been too busy sharpening it to notice. When Sophia walked into the study that evening, barefoot, soft smile, ready to apologize, I had the footage projected on the wall behind me. Then I pressed play. Sophia's screams faded down the hallway until there was nothing left to hear. I did not follow. The study was dark. I had not turned on the lights. Leo had warned me once. If she ever finds out, she'll leave, and she won't come back. I had laughed. She won't leave. She loves me too much. I'd planned everything so carefully. The kidnapping, the dosage, the timing of every rescue. I calculated exactly how broken Mara needed to be for me to walk in and play savior. What I never calculated was that love could die. I treated it like a machine, something that would keep running as long as I needed it. But Mara had signed the papers, packed the ashes, boarded a plane. She had not even left angry. Anger would have meant she still cared. What she left was paperwork, clean, final, like closing out an account. I sat there for a long time. I did not cry. But eventually, my hands started to shake.
Eight months later, London. Mara won an Emerging Designer Award for an urban public space project. She walked across the stage in a black suit, her hair cut short. Thinner than before, but steady.
After the ceremony, she saw me in the backstage corridor. She glanced at me the way someone glances at a wall fixture. Then she kept walking.
Mara, I didn't sign the divorce.
I stopped, but I did not turn around yet.
Sophia was Moretti. Everything about her was a lie. The baby wasn't mine. I've made her pay for what she did to you.
I turned and looked at him. You made her pay. What about you? Nico opened his mouth. I did not let him fill the silence.
You staged a kidnapping. You forged 5 DNA reports. You drugged me for 3 months until I believed I had been gang raped. You locked me in a room you knew I couldn't survive. You flew me across the world to use me as bait. You made me want to tear my own skin off. You made me want to die. So who pays for that? Nico had nothing. I don't hate you anymore. Hating you takes energy, and you're not worth it. But I will never forgive you either. Forgiveness is for things that can still be fixed. There's nothing left between us to fix. Everything you're doing now, the apologies, the punishments, tracking me down, isn't for me. It's so you can sleep at night. My scars don't disappear just because you found a way to close your eyes. Don't come find me again. That is the only thing I want from you. I turned and walked away. Even pace. No pause. I did not look back. 4 years later, a bridal suite outside London. October light came through the window. An unsigned envelope arrived that morning. Inside was a single note. I looked at it for 2 seconds. Then I tore it in half and dropped it into the trash. My husband was a structural engineer I had worked beside for years. Quiet, calm smile. We had 30 guests, family, and the people who had actually shown up when things were bad. No cameras, no social circle watching, no one performing for anyone. I pushed the door open. Outside, the sky was high, cold, and clean. The way English October gets when the weather finally decides to be honest. My husband stood on the lawn, sunlight across his shoulders, hand outstretched. I'd married once before with nothing but a piece of paper and a promise never truly meant for me. I'd scrubbed myself raw for wounds that weren't real. I'd counted to 1,000 in the dark, then counted again. But I was done counting. I smiled. I slanted my jade him. And I walked toward him.